team, we, after Will made that field goal, we go in at the half 10-6. Pretty even time of possession, even in the turnover battle. Whole half ahead of us, and then we did not play in any way, shape, or form the type of half that would give us a chance to compete in the second half. 2 turnovers and 3 punts on offense, and then defense got the stop that we kind of talked about at halftime. Hey, getting going. They got that stop to start the second half, and then we had that was pretty catastrophic turnover to give them a free chance at 7 points. So you're not going to come to Lambeau Field and win a game, especially playing like that in the second half, and absolutely not in any way, shape, or form giving ourselves a chance to win the football game. Just injury updates. Christian Darrisaw had an ankle that he tried to play through, and eventually he came out of the game. Donovan Jackson, I believe, also had an ankle on a foot and was trying to come back in the game, but trainers thought it would be best to hold him out as well. And then Metellus had a shoulder but was battling through that and able to return. Turn it over to you guys. Yeah, I think, there's things that by running the football pretty efficiently in the first half, you think you might be able to get some plays off of plays to generate some explosives, but at the same time we wanted to come back out and run the football, and we had a negative run, have to get Jordan down there, give him a chance to get down there to get that buzz safety on a negative run. Called a quick game to start the half, trying to see if we can just get a completion play to get it going, and we took a sack on that play, and then had back-to-back negatives are very, very hard to overcome, especially against that group when you end up 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 17, whatever we were. Not the formula in any way, shape, or form. Tried to, I thought we did a good job committing to the run early on in the game, stacked some plays on plays and started to feel kind of what that can do for you along the line of scrimmage. But then we get to after running the ball pretty well consistently on a drive, we get to a third and inside one and don't get it on the sneak, that we practiced a lot, and then don't get it on 4th down, end up going backwards really. So no matter what you do, running the football wise, if you can't continue to get those new sets of downs, we've got to then have the marriage of the run and the pass, try to come to life. And there were some chances, I thought. JJ got tripped up coming out of center one time where, we had a good look for a play. And there was just a bunch of little things like that. Our margin of error is clearly pretty razor thin right now. But what we can't do is lose the turnover battle 3-0, significantly lose the field position battle, and then have negative plays on offense that gives you really no chance against one of the better defenses in the league. But as our guys know, and already hearing just the players in the locker room, and they want to go back to work and fix it. And us as a coaching staff, we got to give them the best possible plan to do that. We've got to have some things corrected that are proving to be somewhat fatal in certain areas of our team right now, well beyond just, having a young quarterback in there. So that's my job, and I've got to do the things that we think will fix some of those problems. Yeah, we've got some rookies, part of that phase where, to a certain extent, you kind of know there's going to be some variance to that. But at the same time, it's just what are we doing as coaches? What are we doing, to emphasize how to play smart football, as the starting point. And, on that play, I know what Miles is trying to do. He's trying to fair catch and then, see if he can get a piece of the gunner to try to help the ball have time to get in the end zone. But first and foremost, we've got to be able to make the initial play, which was the decision not to catch that ball, and then we've got to get all Minnesota Vikings away from it. And if they end up downing it, like we were able to do a couple times with Ryan having a great day punting the ball, to try to help with the field position. But if they end up downing it down in there tight, then it's on the offense to try to sustain a drive and at least flip the field position wise. But yeah, we've got to get some of those things handled. Yeah, I think first of all, the formula cannot be to end up being down double digits in the second half, and at least knowing where it kind of takes you out of the game that you want to play when you're coming in at halftime 10-6, thinking a defensive stop, and then having the chance to go possibly take the lead there in the third quarter, and then the game can kind of stay where you want it, where we're really close in the first half, time of possession, we're really close, yards, and able to kind of every single one of those positive run plays should hopefully be setting up either another positive run or some plays off of it, and we just can't quite get to that point without having some things happen around JJ, or some variance to having a young quarterback in there when you're playing a good defense and just understanding timing of pockets and things like that, getting the ball out, the power of completions. Where it's still definitely a work in progress for sure, but I still believe he's absolutely under control from a play call standpoint. There's little things that happen, like a quarterback getting tripped up on a play pass where you might have a look at something, or just maybe the dialogue in the huddle, making sure all 11 are on the same page. There's little things that come up here and there that just continue to limit your chances of having ultimate success enough against a good defense to go put points on the board. But it is one of those things where I do believe wholeheartedly that it takes a drive or two of confidence building to truly cement kind of what we want to be as an offense. And moving the ball, running the ball is great. And got a play pass to Justin early, and ended up kind of stalling out from there, where we call a pass on 1st and 10, and then kind of a run play on 2nd down with the chance to throw that run solution, and it's not really the look to do that. And early in the game, young quarterback maybe wants to try to get an easy completion, and we throw that ball. And it's just little things like that where I got to do a better job kind of eliminating some of those things that maybe can be left for chance. Yeah. I think you can. I do believe that, but it does require, as a football team, not doing things that loses games. And a special teams turnover, I believe in 2 out of our last 3 games, and then ultimately the defense is out there battling. They're trying to get the ball back for us as much as we can, but then there's some things where you can't have breakdowns around that player to consistently sustain. So as some of those things happen, or you start stacking negatives, that becomes incredibly difficult for any quarterback, never mind a guy just still in the single-digit world of career starts and all that. So we got to keep putting together plans that give us a chance to express what we want to be as an offense with some talented players in that huddle, while also giving him a chance to grow, but not putting the game totally in his hands, where the variance of a young quarterback will cost our whole team. And I think there's a needle to thread there, and we got to just keep on building the foundation of playing the position, but also all 11 guys in that huddle doing their jobs, and then special teams has got to play the phase where I thought Will unbelievable with those 2 field goals, and those are the types of plays where or drives where if you get points there, you're staying in the football game, staying in real football without having to go all pass, likely against a team with that kind of front. Yeah, we had a pretty good plan. Even I know JJ's first interception. There's 2 tight ends helping on the edges, and I got to go back and look at it, but didn't particularly feel like we were that was I believe one of the first few attempts for with Justin stepping in there for CD at left tackle, and we're trying to help as much as we can on the edge. But the general feel sometimes is, are we using that help? Are we fundamentally jumping on jumping on that player right off those bumps and those protections? Because outside of calling plays where you're doing that, you're essentially, when you're down points, there's that call sheet can shrink in a hurry. And we've experienced it at times this year with guys having to step in, either early in games or in the second half of games, and we didn't handle it well today whatsoever. Yep. Well, I think it's a mix, right? I think we've seen examples of guys pressing, maybe to try to make a play here and there, or second and long, and we're just trying to put the ball in play, and we get a drop on a second and long play that creates, where hey, maybe you have a chance to make that third and manageable right there, and it's a guy trying to catch the ball and make a play and see if he can get more and more, and that's where you feel pressing at times. But then there's other times where it's got to be technique, it's got to be strain, it's got to be fundamentals, and the 11 guys in the huddle doing their jobs. No errors, you don't get chances for do-overs. So when those things turn into negatives, especially when your team needs to kind of sustain a drive, maybe we pick up the special teams after that turnover. I know the defense is going out on that field wanting to pick up everybody and say, hey, we're going to hold them out right here, and they punch it in. Big deal. Let's go take the ball and let's put a drive together and get right back to where we want to be in this game and just keep applying pressure to the opponent. But we can't allow that feeling to allow the execution and the detail and some of those things to slip. And that's not really referencing the quarterback in any way, shape, or form, but he's still an inexperienced guy that's building it up as he goes. And there's just too much bad football today, specifically in the second half, really second half only, that just didn't give us a chance whatsoever, Ben. Yeah, it's all about his preparation. It's all about going back to work and understanding, hey, this is a new week, very tough road trip ahead of us. We're going to need our quarterback to have the best week of preparation out of anybody on our team. But then we also need all the other phases of our team and the other guys in that huddle with him to do the same, and just keep on staying the course. And when we find improvement, when we find consistent examples of it, let's not be in a position where we're ever going to be a team that celebrates that short-term success. We're going to be a team that needs to just continue to press onward and execute even better and do your job even better. And that's just where our team is at right now. I think that there is definite possibilities of within, when these guys watch the tape and when they see just how close things are to going totally one way or the other, and then when you eventually do have a loss of a half of 3 turnovers in a half, you really don't give yourself a chance whatsoever to win that game. But let's dive into it to a point where I told all of our players, grade sheets beside how I played, all those things, look at it as a collective football team and say, what more can I do? Where can I find those little edges for me to do my job at that elite level, which will only help the guy next to me and the guy under center, is how our team views it. That's how our leadership views it, and I think that's why you hear from Brian O'Neill and guys like our captains, saying, not only saying the right things, but those guys are doing the right things. And I have total faith that we're going to continue pressing onward and improving as we go. Yeah, it's probably too early. Both those guys will be evaluated. I know DJ Donovan really, he was doing everything in his power to try to get back out there, tape it up, and we just wanted to make sure he could, not only do his job, but for the sake of him, just not sustaining something a lot longer than maybe where it's at right now. And then with CD, he tried to fight through it, got it earlier on in the game, and was able to, go. And then at one point, Tyler told me he was done. So we'll evaluate both those guys. Hopefully, getting a guy like Jonathan Grenard, who was close, back next week will help. And we'll see where we're at, and I'll update you guys as soon as I get a little bit more clarity.